Memphis at Florida State. This game is noon Eastern time. This is a big one here, not just for Memphis, but it's a gotta have it for Florida State as well. They are looking to avoid their second 0-3 start in the last 4 years. Question number one, can Florida State stop the run? The reason why this is kind of a key matchup is because Florida State's run defense has been painfully bad. They've given up 453 yards on 88 carries. That's about 5.1 yards a carry and about 227 yards a game. If Florida State wants to beat folks, they got to be able to control the line of scrimmage, especially in the run game. And while Memphis is not really a group that scares you to death with how they run the football, they went out and they brought in Mario Anderson from South Carolina, who did have 125 yards and a couple touchdowns against Troy on just 17 carries. It was about 7.5 a clip. So while Memphis is not a team, like I said, that's going to just pound you in the run game, maybe against Florida State, they stay a little more committed to it than they have been up to this point. Let's go to question number two. Can Florida State continue to get pressure on the opposing quarterback? In this case, it's Seth Hennigan. Now, Florida State, they've put pressure on 50% of their opponents' dropbacks this season. That is the 9th highest rate in the FBS. And they're not blitzing either. They don't blitz. They've only blitzed on 18% of the opponent's dropbacks, and yet they still have a pressure rate of 50%. So they're getting home with 4, but they got to close the deal. Seth Hennigan's played a lot of football. The opposing quarterback, they're going against the 4th-year quarterback in the country to serve as a 4-year starter at one program. It's the only one. So he has seen a lot of things in his time under center. Well, in shotgun. He's improved a little bit every year too, and that seems to be continuing. Granted, it's early through 2 starts. Here he's off to a career-best 70% completion. He's done a great job by throwing for nearly 470 yards here in the first couple games. So can they get pressure on the veteran Seth Hennigan? And question number 3, can Florida State's offense finish in the red zone? Florida State has struggled in the red zone. Okay, they've scored a touchdown on just 1 out of 3 of their red zone penetrations. Okay, 33% touchdown rate in the red zone is good for 122nd in the FBS. Not good. Here's the other problem. It's hard to throw the football when you get in the red zone because the field condenses and you can no longer stretch the field vertically. So you got to be able to run the football. Well, right now, Florida State is 127th in rushing offense. They're averaging under 60 yards a game on the ground. So everyone wants to blame DJ Uiagalelei and all this stuff. The offensive line, that veteran group across the front, like they need to move some people off the line of scrimmage. And if they don't, think about what that might mean for them moving forward as the quality of opponent increase. I mean, you bring in Roydell Williams from Alabama. Lawrence Toafili might pound for pound be one of their best backs that they've had. The two have combined for just 85 rushing yards on 29 attempts so far. So they've had a couple of substantial gains, sure, but man, this is going to be huge for them to run the football as that field condenses in the red zone. You can't put too much on DJ Uiagalelei's shoulders, especially down there when the field is tight. I lean Florida State in the game. I think Florida State bounces back. They've had a week now to assess where they're at. They've had a week now to identify weaknesses and strengths, and I think they're going to be a much better team moving forward. I still have a ton of faith in this staff. I still have a ton of faith in both sides of the ball, by the way. I think they still have good personnel, and I think we see the best version of them on Saturday against Mike Norvell's former team.